Even with Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson popping out and showing everybody why they might be the best duo in the league, the Knicks take an L to the Chicago Bulls, and I'm here to talk about it. What's up, guys? It's your boy Dariel. Let's get right into today's video. So the Knicks just finished losing to the Chicago Bulls by the score of 139 to 126. Off rip, what I want to say is the Chicago Bulls, man, they're not horrible. Right now, I'm looking at the standings. They're 10th in the East, so they're literally in the last play-in spot with a record of 15 and 19. But, they have talent. And Zach LaVine, I've been seeing a clip going around the internet, FanDuel TV. I know it's Michelle Beal. I know it's Lou Williams. It's Chandler Parsons. And Chandler Parsons was talking about how, Zach LaVine is such a good basketball player. But it's just because he's with the Chicago Bulls that, he's just not really his name is not really being thrown around in, better players in the league. And Zach LaVine, man, for as much of his injury history or whatnot, the man can ball. The guy had 33 points, 13 of 21 from the field, 6 3-point attempts. He made 3 of them, 50%. He hit all 4 of his free throws. But all I want to say is that the Chicago Bulls, the last few seasons, they've been, maybe you might be able to say they've been a little bit of a joke. But they have talent. Kobe White has been coming on strong. So, I knew coming into tonight's game, even after a back-to-back, after losing to the Oklahoma City Thunder, I knew it was not going to be an easy game. So, if people were expecting us to go into Chicago and grab that W, I was actually expecting the Knicks to be confronted with a pretty tough-nosed team. But as far as the game, man, Karl Anthony Towns, he did end the game with 44 points, 17 of 29 from the field, 3 of 7 from three-point line, 7 of 10 from free throws, grabbing 16 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, no blocks. So he had a really, really strong double-double, but the lasting image I'm seeing of Karl Anthony Towns limping to the locker room, I don't know exactly what it was, but I don't know if it was a knee bump. I don't know if someone kneed him in the back of his hamstring, because those are really big stingers. So I don't know exactly which it is. So hopefully it's nothing too crazy. But Karl Anthony Towns is just continuing his he's continuing his all-star season, and he's reminding everybody why he deserves to be in the conversation for better big man in the league. But taking the L to Chicago is not great. And then Jalen Brunson, he's doing his job, 33 points, 11 of 20 from the field, 1 of 4 from three-point line, 10 of 11 for his free throws. Dishing out 8 assists, grabbing 2 rebounds. Listen, man, whenever I do my solo videos, it's something that we're never gonna not address. This is one of the bigger reasons why we lost an OKC game, the bench. Tonight, Precious Achiuwa played the most minutes with 27 minutes, but he provided 5 points, 2 of 2 from the field. He no 3-point attempts, thank God. Converting 1 of his 2 free throws, grabbing 5 rebounds. Plus minus, he was a -3 while he was on the floor. And everybody else, Cameron Payne, the main players off the bench that played in today's game, because Jacob Toppin, Jericho Sims, Matt Ryan, those players, Tyler Kolek, they got garbage minutes. So the main players that are coming off the bench that actually played in today's game, Precious, which I already talked about, Cameron Payne, and Landry Shamet. Cameron Payne, 14 minutes, 8 points, 3 of 5 from the field, 2 of 3 from three-point line, and finished the game with 3 assists. Landry Shamet, 17 minutes, 2 of 6 from the field, 0 of 2 from three-point line, grabbing 1 rebound and netting us 4 points. The starting 5 is undoubtedly in the conversation. I'm not saying that they are, but I'm saying that they are in the conversation for best starting 5 group in the league. But right after that, when you start talking about the production coming off the bench, we are absolutely in the conversation for having the worst productivity coming off the bench, man. We don't have anybody consistently coming off the bench. And even with Deuce, even when Deuce is being healthy, as much as he's taking some steps forward in his career, as much as he's taking the leap that I'm impressed with, he's not somebody that we can wholeheartedly depend on. So if you want to give me Deuce, if I throw up the argument and I say that our bench is horrible, even with a fully healthy bench, okay, cool. Deuce, I'll give you Deuce. But then after Deuce, who are we looking at? We're looking at the Preciouses of the world. We're looking at the Cameron Paynes. We're looking at the Landry Shamets. I don't know, man. I think that's besides Mitchell Robinson being healthy and actually being able to play a playoff series, I think the next biggest thing is the bench unit. And maybe dangling Mitchell Robinson in the trade during the trade deadline to get more bench depth, maybe that's the way to go, man. I don't know exactly. Obviously, we're linked to a number of different bigs. Vucevic is another player that, not to the Knicks, but he's just been linked to just trade rumors with the Bulls. But you never know. I wouldn't want to make that trade. I think Vucevic is an underwhelming player. I actually expected a lot more from him going to the Chicago Bulls. But they've been So I just underwhelming for Vucevic. But Nick Richards, Jonas Valanciunas, Walker Kessler, now I'm really starting to think if we give up Mitch, should we just fully be looking for a big that is durable? Or should we be dangling Mitch in the trade deadline and try and get pieces back to replenish the bench? Now I'm looking at it a little different. At first, I was like, if we're giving up Mitch, we got to get another healthy big that's going to be able to stay healthy and actually help us in the playoffs. Now I'm looking at it like, if we're going to give up Mitch, then I want pieces back in order to replenish the bench. Maybe it might... of course, I would love to be at a big man, but I would also maybe want a wing or two to maybe we can add to the bench. So I'm not sure, man. But specifically going into tonight's game against the Chicago Bulls, the third quarter was a nightmare. The third quarter, we only had 12 points. We were 5 of 18 from the field. We took 5 3-pointers and we missed all 5 of them. The Chicago Bulls, they had 27 points. They were 12 of 18 from the field, and they were 3 of 5 from 3-point line. So the third quarter is really what kind of just put the nail in the coffin. But it's interesting because the first half, we were doing okay. We were hitting 52%. The first half, it ended 72-63. We ended up hitting 52% of our field goals. We were 6 of 17 from 3-point line. Free throws, we were very aggressive, 16 of 18. Rebounds, we had 26 to Chicago Bulls 20. The points in the paint, 32 to Chicago Bulls 24. The bench points, we lost because obviously I just gave a whole big spiel about that. In the first half, the Knicks bench points is 8 to Chicago Bulls 11. So that third quarter is what really put the nail in the coffin. Now, something else that I've been seeing around in the internet that I should talk about, the starting 5 tonight, the minutes. Jalen Brunson, actually no, incorrect. OG Anunoby played the least amount of minutes with 32. But then after OG Anunoby, we're looking at 33 for Mikal Bridges. We're looking at 37 for KAT. We're looking at 33 for Jalen Brunson. We're looking at 40 minutes for Josh Hart. And, that's as far as our Achilles heel for this season, 100% I will put all my money up. There's a 1A and a 1B, and I don't know which one is higher. 1A is Mitchell Robinson. If Mitchell Robinson is able to come back healthy and actually just play, just give me one good playoff season. Give me from the first round until however far we make it. Give me that. Or our biggest Achilles heel is going to be Mitchell Robinson, or it's going to be just our bench unit. Those are going to be the two biggest reasons how far we go in this playoff season. And when we're looking at the minutes that the starting 5 is playing, this is what's today? Today's January 4th. We're looking at 40 minutes for Josh Hart. We're looking at 37 for KAT on a January 4th game against the Chicago Bulls. But then again, after I keep saying what I'm saying, Coach Tibbs, he doesn't have anybody that he can depend on off the bench. And that's even with a healthy Deuce. Landry Shamet, campaign, that's not really moving me. It's not moving the needle. Precious Achiuwa, hand wave. You guys know what's up with that. But, listen, a back-to-back loss from OKC to Chicago. And then Monday, we're going to be back home playing against, I believe, the Orlando Magic. But this back-to-back from OKC to Chicago, I wasn't able to watch the full OKC game. I was only able to watch the first half, so I can't give you a breakdown of it. But from what I've seen from other reactions from the OKC game and from what I see with my own eyes for today's game is that bench, man, that's going to make or break our season 100%. And we'll see what happens. But before I wrap up today's video, there's something that I need to give a salute to. This is a Knicks YouTube channel, obviously, but I would be remiss if I didn't give my flowers to Derrick Rose on Derrick Rose night. Listen, man, Derrick Rose, oh my God, if Derrick Rose had a healthy season, I'm not comparing it, I'm not saying let's say he had a LeBron James type of career where he's 20 seasons. I don't want to go that far. Just give me a good, Give me a good 7 to 8 year run from Derrick Rose rookie year all the way up until the 7th or 8th year, eighth year in the year. Just give me that amount of time. If Derrick Rose was healthy during that time, I 100% believe he would definitely have at least one ring. At least one ring. That was around the time where LeBron James and the Heatles, they formed up. And at that time, the Chicago Bulls were looked at as the number one contender against the Miami Heat. But then Derrick Rose, with all the torn ACLs, with the meniscus tears, it's just the injuries started piling up, and it took away from his, just honestly, it took away from his, and it took away from our experience with him. But what I'm trying to say is, Derrick Rose, the way he's been able to battle back from those injuries, he was never the same player that he was prior to the injury. But if you remember, he played in Minnesota when Coach Tibbs was the coach for that team one season, and I believe he dropped 50 or a 55-point game. And that interview that he had after the game, he was just breaking down in tears, and he was just telling everybody in the interview that nobody knows how hard he worked to get back to that spot. The amount of respect that I have for that man, being a former player myself, nobody knows what it's like. If you haven't played on a professional level, you don't know what it's like to have to look at yourself in the mirror and realize that you're not that guy anymore. And then Derrick Rose, being the youngest MVP of all time, the world was his oyster, man. He could have had everything he wanted. He definitely could have been a multiple MVP. He definitely would have had at least one NBA ring, maybe even a couple. I don't know. But then to have that snatched from you because of injuries, and then to see the way that he's bounced back, he's actually been able, after those injuries, it was a little shaky there for a little bit, but then he was able to find his role within the NBA of being that veteran that all the teams wanted. From Minnesota Timberwolves when Coach Tibbs was there, and then Coach Tibbs went to the Knicks, and who did he want to get? He wanted to get Derrick Rose. And then Derrick Rose, before he came to the Knicks, I believe he bounced around a little bit. He was with the Cavs. I'm getting my Derrick Rose years mixed up, but all I'm saying is that the amount of respect that I have for Derrick Rose is forever is at an all-time high level. And Derrick Rose, in my opinion, when you start having the conversation of who did you want to see have a healthy career, the options are Grant Hill, the options are Brandon Roy, the options are Greg Oden, Derrick Rose, of course, you got to throw in there. Out of those four, Brandon Roy, Grant Hill, Greg Oden, and Derrick Rose, I'm taking Derrick Rose 100 times out of 100. I want to see what his career would have looked like if he never had those injuries. So again, Derrick Rose, salute to you on Rose Night. And of course, you are a former Knickerbocker, so there's always going to be love for you here in New York, always and forever. But guys, I want to say thank you so much for checking out this video. Leave it in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about tonight's effort the Knicks gave towards the Chicago Bulls. KAT having a breakout, not a breakout game, but a really big game, 44 points. Jalen Brunson had 33. Are you guys a little worried about this 2-game losing streak that we got going on right now? Let me know what you guys thought about KAT's, the way he's limping off the floor. Do you think it's just a little bit of a stinger, or do you think it might be something a little bit more serious? But leave it in the comments. And until next time, you guys know the drill. You know the vibes. Jalen Brunson for all the MVPs. The deuce is loose for co-MVP. OG and Anobi. I didn't really talk about you tonight a lot, OG. But let me just say, from tonight's game, I'm going to let you live a little bit. I'm going to let you live. But let me get back to the outro. OG Anobi for Defensive Player of the Year. Taj Gibson, we love you and miss you. And of course, it's always Queens forever. I'll check you guys out in the next video. Peace.